Good morning. So the thing is today that I do my little inspection of all the birds every morning just to make sure that they're okay. You check their feet, you check their beak, you check under the wing or the feathers, make sure none of them are like cracked or bent or might hurt them or bleeding or something. So this morning I was looking at Zero and I noticed that he has chipped his beak. Now, I'm making this video because I have gotten quite a lot of questions on this, and I figured, if one person has that question, probably 10 others might have that question too, they're just not asking. So I will film some close-ups of his beak. So basically, his beak now is kind of like a chipped tooth now. Maybe not as bad because luckily it is the lower mandible, so he has chipped out a hole. He loves to chew on metal, chains and stuff, so most likely he bit a little bit too hard. Just in case you're wondering, this is not a aviary or veterinary emergency, so you do not have to rush him to or her to your vet. Please make sure you compare the chip with your bird and my bird. A friend of mine contacted me about 2 or 3 days ago and told me that his bird, he has a white-bellied Kaik, has hurt himself and that he has broken off his beak. I will also show you pictures on this right now.
Alright, so this is Ricky. As you can see, he has his beak broken off. As you can see, the piece itself is quite big. It was the whole tip came off. And here's another picture of the beak from the side. You can see the very tip, the sharp end is what came off. Here's a side-by-side of Ricky. You can see right here how on the slanted line you see this is where it broke off and this is a before and after. But of course he's fine now and he's snuggling with his mom and he's okay.
Yeah, that one is a pretty bad one. His upper mandible broke off. He was pecking at his girlfriend's phone and he must have done it too hard somehow and it just broke off this way. And so now he has exposed, he was bleeding and he has exposed nerve endings, which can be very painful. You can compare this to a really bad bruise. So again, even this one, it would not be a veterinary emergency as long as it's not bleeding anymore and you got the bleeding to stop. It's gonna be okay. Your bird will be in pain. There's really nothing that the vet could do in this case either, and you saw in the video, and I'll show you here again. It's quite of a big chunk that came off. Most likely what happened here is that the beak, the upper mandible, kind of got too long and too pointy and probably would have maybe needed a trim, and that's why it broke off so easily. I mean, we can speculate that that's what it is. It doesn't have to be, but most likely that's what it was. For him, it's the lower, and it won't hurt him when eating. It's gonna be okay, and the beak will continue growing, much like your fingernails are growing. And eventually with trimming, like the next appointment that I have that I go to my favorite place, Chirping Friends, hopefully maybe she'll be able to just kind of even it out a little bit, because I don't want him to like cut himself because it is quite of a sharp edge. But all in all, as you can see, it doesn't really bother him. He's still preening, he's still eating, he's doing everything else. So he doesn't seem to be in pain. Now, if you see that your bird is just sitting there lethargic, and especially if there's tail bobbing going on, so they're sitting on the perch and kind of sleeping, but the tail is bobbing, that's a very bad sign. So you would want to rush your bird to the vet immediately, so they're either in a lot of pain or just any other health issues are going on. But in this case, it's not that bad. I just wanted to let you know what happens when they chip their beak and how to react to it. A lot of people don't know that the beak itself, they don't have, there's nerve endings there and blood supply. But if you really look at it, like if you were to look at a cut, of a beak, it's this material like a fingernail. So the beak is made from a really hard material. So it really takes a lot to break a beak. I don't know what he was doing. They also have a very, yeah, I don't know, what were you doing? What did you do? They have a very strong bite. So he must have bitten down with some force. But, he'll be okay. He'll just be a little bit annoyed maybe. He'll probably play with it a little bit, kind of like you would if you have a chipped tooth. Luckily here there's no nerve endings involved, so he'll be fine. Now my friend's bird, there's nerve endings involved and he's a little bit in pain, but it'll just heal after a while, and it will actually grow back. It'll take a while. I mean, it doesn't grow fast, but the beak will grow back. Unless the beak will not grow back if it was ripped, obviously, and the root came out. I know, that sounds horrible. Or if, let's say, they have a crack that goes down, in a line this way, not horizontal, vertically this way. Now that's something that you need to go see a vet about. I don't know how they fix it, glue it, I don't know, I have no idea. But really you have to go see a vet about. If you are experiencing this right now and your bird has chipped his beak, not to worry too much about it, especially if it's just a small beak chip. Like in this case, it's a good sized chip, but it's not that bad. And even if it breaks off, the tip breaks off, a lot of times I get that question, the beak tip has broken off. That is also going to be okay. It's not a veterinary emergency. If it's bleeding, just be careful. Make sure that you use anything you have, cornstarch, and try to stop that bleeding, because birds don't have a lot of blood and even a couple of drops can be dangerous. So you have to be super careful with that. Other than that, I hope you learned something. And if you like my video, please subscribe, please like, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!